up, you fools! Matt, ESC United. It's a favorite Eurovision channel, another day full of rehearsals. This is the second half of semi-final 2 that is rehearsing, and we just had a big one. The one that had a lot of hype because we haven't heard anything. Like, there were no performances at the concerts, we had no leaks about the staging. We're talking about Russia, Sergey Lazarev. Not only that, he is a big name returning, almost champion, Tel Aviv champion, we could say, right, in 2016. And
the People's Champion.
The People's Champion. Did he live up to the hype that's been building around him with the staging, with the song? We're going to talk about it, but before we do so, well, actually, you go ahead and check out the video on the YouTube channel first, so we don't have to go for every little detail, so you get at least a visual of what we're talking about. Now that's done, let's talk about the song. Sean, I'll let you go first. Give me an impression what you thought about the staging and etc.
Well, just to be clear, first of all, this song is probably in the middle of my pack if I had to do a ranking. So, you know, it's okay to me. It's not something I hate. It's not something I particularly love. But, you know, it is an impressive song. It's got great vocals. So I went into this not really having any kind of expectations of what to look out for. So I just wanted to see what he came up with. And I think that probably helped me, because from like an unbiased kind of viewpoint on that, it was a really impressive staging to me personally. It's very professionally done. Reminds me a little bit of Annie Lorac's performance from 2008, but obviously in a completely different vein. He's not crawling around in a sequin dress on the top anywhere. So
that's an idea.
No, well, I think maybe he'd get a few more televote points if he did that. We don't know, but yeah, I think the concept behind the performance is really good, because obviously it's all about, you know, his internal struggles, I guess, because he's fighting with himself, and there's, you know, there's like 8 or 9 Sergey Lazarevs there that are sort of, you know, in turmoil. They're arguing, or they're crying, they're screaming, and I think that the whole thing was very tastefully done. Particularly like the part where he goes into the box and there's the rain going down the front of it. I think that's a really nice effect and really conveys the mood of the song. And I think on the whole it's really well shot. The camera angles are really work well with the performance, and I think he's done another good job here.
Yes. No, I think so too. Now, mine's the difference. I happen to be a big fan of the song, so I try not to go into expectations either, because as I point out, you start playing, oh, he should do this kind of staging, and you add this, and then you already created the staging in your head, and then if he doesn't replicate that 100%, I will be disappointed, right? So I stood away from that, like, I don't know what he's going to do. I, for some reason, had faith in them anyway, because there's a big team behind them doing all of that. So, and I don't think it's as big as some people may think it was. I think it was actually more tasteful rather than going too big. I mean, it's still impressive, don't get me wrong. There are really cool effects in there. But, you know, they're not going to have any theatrical stuff going on there, what you may saw like in the music video. It was just him by himself on stage, right? And the backup singers are all backstage. And it has those 8 pillars with the screens on there. They're like vertical up, and then it's where, as you said, they will be displayed the Sergeys and all. You know, at first it was a reflection of him, but then the reflections then came alive. They made it look like, and then they did their own thing with their struggles and all of that stuff. And that was a pretty cool moment when that happens. Now you can see people maybe saying, well, this is a very self-indulgent performance because we have not just one Sergey, but 9 of them in total. But I think that is not the idea here. It's not that he's just they're flying around with his hair trying to look pretty. It's really about the struggle that you were talking about. So there is a message behind that, and I think the staging looks appropriate. Yes, it's lighter where he is because he's wearing white and that all stuff, but everything else on the stage is dark. Like there's thunder and lightning. It's getting exciting. I never realized that. But you know, with the stars and then it was very dark in the back. You know, sad kind of thing. But then you know, you have his white wearing, like he stands out there. It looked really, really pretty. There are no fireworks. There's no pyro. There's no smoke, at least not as of right now. That could change, but as of right now we don't see that, and I don't think that is needed. It is about the emotion that he's trying to create, and it is Sergey that stands in the center. You know, he's the center of attention there, and I do think that he did really well today. Like, you saw him, like, he had, like, almost, like, I say painful face, that's kind of rude, but certainly he was so into it, like, he almost passes out. That's how much he put into the first rehearsal already. He sounded fantastic, except, of course, he saved his voice for the very last big note, so people were kind of like, why is that not happening? Yeah. But I'm not too worried about that, because even if you weren't to hit that note, he could always sing it in a low octave and it would still sound great. So that I'm not worried about. But I do think the overall thing, and people, again, a lot of people that had so much hype behind it will potentially be disappointed by the staging. But I thought it was appropriate, and I think his voice sounded good, and I think it just creates a fantastic mood. So for me, it's the thumbs up. Is there anything for the second rehearsal that you can think they should focus on? That's something, yeah, let's talk about this, let's get this, maybe you should try something different.
The only thing, if I had to be nitpicky, was in the second part, you know, where he comes out and there's like a chorus of Sergey's and they're all singing. He's a bit out of time with the movements of the reflections behind him, the LED projections, which is, you know, it's not really important. It's just a case of, you know, perfecting that, fine-tuning it. Again, some of the camera angles, it seems to be an issue with some of the performances, is that the camera angles need a bit of work, but it is a first rehearsal, so that's going to happen. But other than that, on the whole, I think what we've got to remember is that a lot of people seeing this are going to be seeing this for the first time. They're going to be hearing the song for the first time live on the night, and I think in the flow of the show, once you see this, you're going to look at it and go, okay, that was impressive. Yes. And so I think they've achieved what they needed to with this.
Yeah, I think so too. So considering that's a little bit more technologically advanced, the staging, I thought the camera work in particular was pretty spot on. I'm sure they're not happy. No delegation is ever really truly happy with everything. But I think they should be, based on my amateur eyes, what I've seen. It looked pretty good. Like if I would just watch it on TV, like, you know, as a viewer, I wouldn't been like, oh my god, what's wrong with this? The camera's off. Nothing like that. It felt really good. Yes, as far as the last note is concerned, save your voice, Sergey. Don't let anyone pressure you into singing these high notes. If your voice is not ready, don't strain your voice if it's not needed. So that's why people always like talking about it already. I'm like, that one note. I'm like, it's one note.
Yeah.
One flippin' note. Like people made the same thing when Lorraine during the rehearsal swallowed a snowflake, and this what she was doing. And I'm like, oh, she's going to lose now. And I'm like, oh, hold your horses, relax. So I don't have a whole lot of constructive criticism either. As you point out, there's maybe some timing issues that will still need to be cleared out, but that is little things that always happen. So feel good about this. I feel pretty good about this, but what do you think? Are you disappointed by the staging? Are you excited? Is this just about right? Leave your thoughts below in the comment section. Would love to hear from you. I'll talk to you all soon.